Today we are out on a very interesting task. We have been invited to film race cars at Ring Knutstorp in Sweden. And the person here at Knutstorp that has invited us is Andy Petersel. And he is here with me today and he will answer a few questions about his relation to the track and how he's actually commercially is using drone footage as part of his work. Welcome to the channel.
Thank you.
Maybe you would take this chance to introduce yourself shortly to the audience and tell us what you do.
What I do is mostly what I dreamed of when I was a kid, actually. I play with cars every day. I film them and then I edit the videos and I use my footage commercially to support companies and racing teams to present themselves on social media usually. I found your channel when I was looking actually to buy my first electric unicycle. In my trade I use a lot of electric stuff to move around to make my footage more smooth and make it more interesting for the viewers. And for a long time now I've been using segways, and this thing I thought at the time was the next thing to use, an electric unicycle. I could, as I'm using this to film cars, I thought that maybe I could use the speed of the electric unicycle to get closer to the cars, to chase the cars on the electric unicycle.
But you actually didn't end up using that. You ended up using something else, recording your footage.
Yeah, I ended up continuing to use segways. I'm right now using a Segway Mini Pro, which turns out is good enough speed-wise, but it's also a lot more stable, so I can stop with it and I can hover around cars and do really nice cinematic footage using it. While with the wheel, although it's a lot of fun and I'm riding the wheel a lot. In my spare time, or if I need, even on the track, I use it sometimes when I don't need to film with it, but I only need to go from point A to point B, and there's nice asphalt, there are no holes and stuff.
I saw one thing that where you did something that I didn't dare doing. You went through 2 lanes of cars, very expensive Porsches on this 9-bot with the 2 wheels. I didn't dare to do that, at least not concentrating on filming. So at least that's a big difference.
I mean, the 9-bot I've been using almost exclusively to film at racetracks, at race events and this kind of events. And I have, I think, more than 1,500 kilometers on it. So I trust it. I can say that.
It's like your second pair of legs.
Yeah, it feels like that. So I can use it even on the street to chase cars, and sometimes I do that when we need to do something quick commercially.
As I mentioned, we are at the Ring Knutstorp. Maybe you could talk a little bit about this track.
So Ring Knutstorp is, I would say, one of the best classic tracks in Sweden, maybe even in Scandinavia. It's a small track. It's under 3 kilometers long, but it has quite good corners, quite good layout, should I say, but it's also full of elevation changes. So in a car, it's a lot of fun to actually drive on this track. And in the same time, it's quite narrow, so you feel the speed, as opposed to when you go on a really wide track, the speed is, I mean, you need to have a lot of speed to actually get. But here it's a lot of fun every meter on the track.
It's a beautiful place, and the weather has been really nice to us. Can you shortly mention what kind of event is it that we have been participating in today?
The event today is a club event, so all the major brands, I'm talking Porsche, Ferrari, but even things like BMW, Mercedes, Mini, have their own club, so to say. So that means if you own a car from BMW or Porsche, you will get access to a club, and this club organizes events, and this is that kind of an event. So basically the club took over the track for 1 day, actually it's 2 days, and had their members just drive on the track and get to know their cars a bit better, and in the same time have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it seems there was a lot of people participating today, so that was I think we got some good ground footage and also as well with the drones. But You mentioned that you are doing a lot of commercial work with racetracks. What kind of equipment are you using? And especially the drone part may be of interest for the audience.
Right.
How do you incorporate drones in your work?
Right. So now with the racing, the drone footage is usually quite spectacular, but in the same time is repetitive. What happens on the track is a car or many cars will drive on this track over and over and over and over again. So with the drone, the footage will be kind of the same, and in the same time it will look quite slow. That's one of the big problems with filming race cars on a track with the drone. You're quite high, and the car, although it's moving quite fast, doesn't look like that, so it's not that dynamic. But I use the drone footage to give people an idea of how big the track is and what is the layout, where is it located geographically, how nice are the surroundings, maybe how many people are there, maybe how many cars are there. But I never use too much. So it's with drone footage, I feel like less is actually a lot more. As for the drone, I'm using the Mavic Air with ND filters. So I actually cannot fly the drone without the ND filters.
I tend to agree on that point.
Yeah, and I film 1080p. It's 60 frames per second. I think it's 1080p. It's 4K.
I think you can do that with Mavic Air.
So then we solved it. It's a 1080p at 60 frames per second.
You slow it down. That's basically the idea with the capturing at 60.
I can slow it down, but yeah, I sometimes speed it up actually.
Yeah, you have to do that because the race car seems slow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see the dilemma.
Yeah, but I want to have it just in case I want to play a bit with the speed and want to go really slow on the thing. All my edits are on the beat.
Yeah.
So then I used to slow it down when it's a slow beat and then speed up the footage in the same
speed ramps.
Yeah. On the ground, I actually have two cameras that I use. Both of them are Canon, same sensor in both. One of them is 200D, is the entry level Canon DSLR, and the other one is 80D. And as lenses, I use one wide lens, that's the 18-35 from Sigma, the 1.8, f1.8, and on the telephoto I'm using the Canon 70-300, which is I think a variable 4 to 5.6.
I definitely learned a lot today because you need a good zoom to capture these close looking scenes where you see the race cars turning into a corner and stuff like that. That is done with the zoom lens, no doubt about that. I brought the 16-35mm lens that I showed you one of the live streams. That is not enough to capture this. This looks very boring, so you need a zoom to capture that excitement that goes on the course. That's for sure. And you are doing some really nice commercial stuff. I think I will include a link for your YouTube channel at least in the description below. If somebody wants to check that out, you should definitely go and check it out. It looks really, really nice. That's one from a Porsche event.
Yep.
You also shot a mini commercial. That is also very, very worth watching. It's very high quality Andy produces. So for me, it has been a big learning experience to be here. I think that is more or less it. I hope we can continue this collaboration at some point. It has been fantastic to be here. Mm-hmm. And thank you for having us. Hopefully we get a chance to do this another time, maybe with another type of cars.
Yep. Thank you so much.
I hope you like this video. Let me know if you like this kind of interactions and interview style. If you did like it, then feel free to press the like button. If you didn't like it, feel free to press the dislike button twice. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one.
You don't have any more gasoline?
No? That's the problem. Isn't this the one?